Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here as we continue on our race weekend from Texas Motor Speedway, getting ready for our 6th race of the 3rd season of the Pizza Hut X Series. So far this season, we've got a very interesting shape-up as far as looking towards the end of the regular season and the chase for the championship. We've had 5 races, 6 different race winners, and 4 of those 6 winners are rookies this season. The most recent, of course, a couple of weeks ago at Atlanta, where we saw Jordan Anderson dominate that race and pick up his first win of his NNSCRA career. Could tonight, another D-shaped mile-and-a-half racetrack, the Great American Speedway, be a place where a rookie might be able to come to the forefront and have themselves in the conversation for a spot in this season's Pizza Hut X Series chase for the championship? We'll find out as we've got a couple of veterans on the front row. Ryan George is on the pole position there in the number 4 machine. Ryan George, a former driver back, I think it was season 1 in the Pizza Hut X Series. Alongside of him, a driver that's won the championship in this series back in season 1, Benny Watson in the 24. Both these drivers have kind of been skidding their tires here for the beginning of the season. Ryan George coming into today's race currently situated way down in the point standings in the 41st position. That is next to last in the points, if you're wondering. Benny Watson, he's had a better start to the season, but he hasn't really jumped himself into the forefront of our television screens as he comes in 17th in the points here today. 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s to start off his first 5 starts of the season, but obviously really looking for victory lane, still trying to find victory lane for the first time since his championship season in season 1. Another thing that we should point out about tonight's race as well here at Texas Motor Speedway is that based off of our Tax Layer Truck Series race here last night, this race will more than likely not have fuel strategy come into play unless we end up getting a caution midway through the race. Then maybe we'll see some drivers gamble with some fuel strategy, maybe try and get fresh Goodyears for the restart. But these drivers should be able to make it the scheduled distance. We should not see any kind of fuel strategy in green flag pit stops come into play in tonight's event. Without further ado, though, we're going to go down trackside and get those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines.
There is the command, and so as the Pizza Hut Chevy Corvette pace car will lead them around for the pace lap, we will get set here for the My Bariatric Solutions 300. And we will give you your top 10, the point standings coming into tonight's race, presented by Golden Corral. Austin LaPlante still searching for that first victory of the season. He is still the points leader, though. His season has been very consistent at the start. He's rolling off from 10th here today as well. He is to 10-point advantage over last week's winner, Jordan Anderson, who jumped up 16 spots after dominating all 3 stages and winning the race at Atlanta. 12 points back in 3rd is former chaser for the past 2 seasons, J Qualls. He's due for his first win of the season. A Navarro, our winner from Las Vegas, is 4th. He's 15 points out, and 20 points out in 5th is our Daytona winner, M Crenshaw. The rest of the top 10, the points coming into tonight's race. Cole Deaver is 6th. The defending champion, Elijah Gilbert, is 7th. Noah Carr is in 8th, and a couple of Texas natives here at their home track tonight, 9th and 10th in points. Chris Dollerton in 9th, and Carson Gum in 10th. Anderson, Navarro, and Crenshaw, all former winners this season. The other former winners are Noah Pontzer, he's 18th in points, Glenn Dewitt, 28th in points, and Chloe Ericsson, 31st in the standings. So for Dewitt and Ericsson, they'd love good runs here tonight to be able to get themselves away from that 30th in the point standings cut line, so their wins would count towards a spot in the chase. But here we go, getting ready to do some Texas two-stepping. Let's roll! Ryan George going, gone as he timed that green flag perfectly, and he will shoot out to the race lead. Kyle Langeland will move into 2nd. Obviously, the entire Fitzwater Australia Racing Organization would love to put Atlanta behind them last week, as all 3 of their cars finished 41st and 42nd. Langeland, Chelsea Bowles, and Daniel Olson. George will lead the first lap of the evening as they are 3 wide behind him, about 2 rows deep. That was Noah Pontzer in the middle. As Langeland sets his sights on Ryan George. Rookies right now 1, 2, 3 with George George Langeland and Patrick Curtis in third, but he's got Benny Watson right behind him. Watson didn't get that really good start at the drop of the green, drifted back a bit, and now is slotted into the fourth position, and now has his sights set on the top three drivers, as now Patrick Curtis will go for second on Kyle Langeland. We talked about Chloe Ericsson and Glenn Dewitt both wanting good runs tonight to get themselves away from that 30th in the point stands cut line. Ericsson comes into this race behind that cut line in 31st, and she's now up there inside the top five, battling for fifth with William Brock. Curtis clears Langeland for second place, and now second, third, and fourth all trying to work together to run down Ryan George. Look at the run Curtis got down the front straightaway. Never lifting into turn one. Tried to get the left rear quarter panel. Couldn't do it, but now is going to be able to get alongside in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Last time we were at a D-shaped mile-and-a-half racetrack was 2 weeks ago. Our last start in Atlanta. Jordan Anderson, we mentioned he dominated that race. The 11 car is up inside the top 10. Now put 3 wide. Michael Haas on the bottom. Langeland up the top side. And now the battle is on for the race lead. Outside pole sitter Benny Watson looking for the top position. He's got William Brock and Dougie Shears right behind him. Austin LaPlante, the points leader, right there in the 16 car as well, as Watson will shoot out to the top position. William Brock right there in the second spot. This has been the best start to the season for him here in the Pizza Next Series. Comes into this race 15th in points. William Brock Motorsports as a whole kind of struggled last season. They did have a win with A Baranauskas at Watkins Glen. They had 2 wins and a chase spot with the 33 of Colby Jackson last season, but the other couple of teams, M McIntire and William Brock, the 3 and the 62, didn't exactly have the best of seasons, but looking a lot better as a whole here this year is the William Brock Motorsports team, as now Austin LaPlante to the inside of Benny Watson for the top position. PJ Williams right there as well, and ooh, that was a very interesting move by PJ, literally on the back bumper of Watson, and couldn't have fit a sheet of paper between his front bumper and Watson's back bumper as he was able to get to the inside there. Exiting turn number 4, he'll now shoot into second place. Watson back to third. Ryan George, pole sitter, right there in fourth place, still in the hunt. PJ Williams had a pretty good season last year. It was looking like he could have potentially been one of the drivers to be in the chase for the championship, but he didn't have a victory, and that was what hindered him getting into the championship battle. Trying to remedy that here early on this season, but the same for Austin LaPlante, who's been the most consistent driver so far this year. He doesn't have the best average finish. There's a couple of drivers ahead of him in the point stands that have a better average finish than him. Those would be James Qualls. He has a 10th place average finishing position in his 5 starts this season. And the other driver would be the defending champion J Gilbert, who has an 11th place average finishing position this year. LaPlante has a 12th place average finishing position, so he is in the top 3 of average finishing position in the first 5 starts of the season. Speaking of J Gilbert, he's up to the 6th spot. Let's see what Qualls has currently scored. He's in 11th, so it looks like they're going to continue at this point with where they're running on having that good average finishing position, but we're only 9 laps into this race, putting lap 10 on the board. There's still a long ways to go in this one, so anything can still happen, as our race a couple weeks ago at Atlanta showed us. With the traffic that came into play, the slower race cars, we saw some drivers end up getting some damage late in the race, and it pretty much kind of took them out of the running of the win. M McIntire ended up sustaining some damage, and so did James Shelley. When both were running inside the top 10, Shelley had to come to pit road for an unscheduled stop, and that finished him off the lead lap. So at these mile-and-a-half racetracks, you can never, ever say that where they're running is where they're going to finish, because a lot of different factors can come into play. Right now, top 2 are single file, nose to tail, and I think PJ Williams, I think this is a strategy maybe on his part in more than one way. Number 1, it's allowing him and LaPlante to kind of distance themselves from third place Benny Watson, but at the same time as well, it's allowing PJ Williams to kind of save a little bit of fuel, and maybe saving that little bit of fuel when we get towards the closing stages. I mean, like I said, I know that they're probably going to make it on fuel, but when you have only a little bit in the tank, you're less likely to want to force the issue as you would be when you've got more fuel in the tank. So that could be a luxury PJ Williams could be utilizing for himself when this race starts getting down to the closing stages. He could also be playing some mind games, waiting to see where is LaPlante better than he is, and maybe use that when he picks his moment to battle for the race lead. best battle is going to be going on here for third place. Benny Watson has it. A Baranauskas wants it. Baranauskas only one career win in the Pizza Hut X Series. That came last season at the road course of Watkins Glen. Trying to show that she can win at tracks other than road courses, and not too far back there you can see the Monopoly Chevrolet of J Gilbert, the number 55, the defending champion. He's trying to find victory lane for the first time this season and maybe clinch himself a ticket into the chase for the championship to defend his title here this year in Season 3 as Baranauskas gets a run to the inside. Watson trying to battle back up top. They'll drag race to the line, and I think it was Baranauskas by a splitter. They are giving the advantage to the 2 on the scoring monitor, and she will now, looks like, clear for the third position out of turn number 2, and that brings J Gilbert right into this fight for third. Williams has lost a little bit of ground now to Austin LaPlante. Another thing that we notice here with these mile-and-a-half tracks too is when we go into these long green flag runs, you get the comers and the goers. You see which drivers are set up best for the short runs and which drivers have their cars set up best for the long run. I would say that right now with what we're seeing, Baranauskas and J Gilbert both have their cars set up for the long haul. Baranauskas has worked her way up into the top 10 and now has fought her way up into third and continuing to pick up ground. Talked about Cole Deaver, 6th in points. He's starting to work his way up towards the front. Now he's going by Dawson Wise. That is for the, I think that's the 9th position. And that's where he crosses the line. And both of the 34 and the 38 having good runs right now. Kev Shearer Racing Tech. 38 of Scott Roush in 7th, and RJ Reynolds trying to crack the top 10, trying to take that 10th position away from Dawson Wise. There's Qualls. We talked about LaPlante, Gilbert, and Qualls, all with an average finishing position better than 12th place. And Qualls right now is back around, looks like maybe the 15th, 16th position, now side by side with our Las Vegas race winner, Angel Navarro. Qualls kind of drifting back a little bit here as he tries working his way back up towards the front. Good battle here. You've got Scott Roush currently in the 7th spot, A Lagasee in 8th, and Cole Deaver in 9th. Two of these drivers rookies. Deaver, of course, was in the battle for the championship last season, made the Final 4 at Auto Club. In the top 10, so it looks like he could very easily here tonight move into the top 5. There's a couple of drivers that are not up here towards the front. I saw one back here around James Qualls. There he is, Noah Cars. So Cars is actually starting to work his way towards the front here, and he comes into this race in the point stands, but a couple of other drivers that are kind of missing from the forefront that came in running well in the points, like Chris Dollerton and Carson Gum. Where are they at? There's Carson. He is scored back last time by in the 29th position. Madeline Crenshaw right behind him in 30th. Crenshaw came in 5th in points. And what about Dollerton? Oh wow, Jordan Anderson has fallen a long ways back there in the 11. We saw him up in the top 10 early on. He's back in 32nd. And Chris Dollerton not too far back. There he is. He was last time by scored in the 34th position as we have a car out of the race that I just realized as well, and that is the 92 of Christian Merrick Jr. So mechanical problems plaguing that driver out of William Brock Motorsports. It looks like he will not finish out tonight's race. Tough break there for Christian Merrick Jr. Driver came in 13th in the point standings, was looking for a good points night to maybe move into the top 10. Former chaser from last season. We're going to be heading to the track that he picked up his only career Pizza Hut X Series win so far at Talladega Superspeedway in a couple of weeks. So you can bet they definitely have that particular race weekend circled on their calendar. LaPlante out in front, but the second place car has changed. It's no longer P.J. Williams. It is now A Baranauskas in the Delta Airlines Chevrolet. And like I said, looked like she had her car very well set up for the long run, worked her way up into the top 5, and now has fought her way up towards the back bumper of Lily Diabetes Ford. LaPlante would love to be able to continue to grow his points lead, plus have himself a win. You think back to last season when Jesse Turner was dominating the point stands, had at one point almost a 100-point advantage over second place, but he couldn't find victory lane. It was kind of looking like that was going to be the case for LaPlante here this season, but having a good run right now. But let's keep in mind, too, he kind of almost dominated the Las Vegas race weekend a few weeks ago, and what happened? He got passed in the closing stages by Angel Navarro and was denied a trip to victory lane there. So Baranauskas may have thoughts about doing the same thing here in the closing stages of this race at Texas. And right now, unless we have something drastically happen like traffic or a caution, I think it could come down between these two. They have opened up about a second and a half between them and the third place car, which right now is Elijah Gilbert. The battling's been going on here between Gilbert, Watson, and PJ Williams for that third position, and not only is that losing them ground to the top two, but every time that they battle is one less lap they have to be able to run them down again. So without them getting in a formation, a single file formation, there's no way they're going to be able to lay down lap times quicker than the top two, who are single file. And you can see the gap has now grown to over 2 seconds. So yeah, unless something happens here in the closing stages, and even a caution flag in the next 3 to 4 laps is going to be able to help them, because then the race would probably end under yellow. So they're going to need something to happen, and I don't think anything is going to be able to happen. They would have to really set their differences aside, run single file, and hope that 3 cars can run faster than 2, and I just don't see that happening. The 16 car went to victory lane for the first time in its Pizza Hut X Series career. Last season when James Shelley put the car in victory lane twice. That was a very interesting corner because LaPlante ran almost down on the white line. Baranauskas rode the middle line, so you can see the 2 car is searching. About a half groove lower there through 3 and 4, so about a groove higher in 1 and 2, a half groove lower in 3 and 4. Baranauskas trying to size up, see where she might be a little bit better than the 16. She's, looks like trying to formulate some plan of attack here, as there will be 5 laps to go next time by. Talked about traffic. There's some damage actually on the 19 of Michael Haas. Not exactly sure what happened there. Oh wow, he's got both left and right side damage on his Eris Toyota. You got Noah Pontzer, our Rio race winner, back here, along with Joshua Osborne and J Jefferson. Now they are just now entering into turn 3. The leader is in turn 2. I don't think they're going to catch him. Don't think they would catch the tail end of the field before this race is over. If they were on the halfway down the back straightaway at the point the field was going into turn 4, yeah, maybe. But I think with nearly an entire straightaway between the leader and the car on the tail end of the lead lap, I don't see traffic coming into play. So Baranauskas, whatever she's formulating, she's got to formulate it quicker, and it doesn't look like she's really been able to gain much ground on Austin LaPlante. So LaPlante right now, oh, wait a minute. Wait, are you kidding me? I thought they could make it on fuel, but apparently I was wrong. Are you serious? This is GNS physics. This isn't CTS physics. They did this same thing with the CTS physics yesterday in the Taxi Truck Series race. I thought GNS physics could make it further. Apparently I was wrong. It's going to be another fuel strategy race. LaPlante has given up the lead to come to pit road, so now who's going to be the gutsy one to risk it? Baranauskas staying out? Yes, No, she's not. She's coming to pit road. She's coming to pit lane. Who's going to be the gutsy one? Who's going to risk it? Watson's coming in. Everybody that came in last time, or that stayed out last time, is coming in this time. It's Glenn Hewitt risking it. The 6th car, let's see if they score him up there. Yes, he is. He's trying to pick up his 2nd win of the season. He won at Bristol Dirt a few weeks ago. His 1st career win and only his 4th career start. Could he be en route to his 2nd? Oh, he's slowed up. He's slowed up there. Is he coming to pit road, or is he going to try and stay out one more lap? No, he's not going to risk it. He's coming to pit road. And I'm going to have a heck of a time trying to figure out who the race leader is going to be. Dewitt coming to the pit lane. I would assume that the race leader would probably be LaPlante again. But I don't know. I'm waiting to see. Dewitt's going to leave pit road. Where's his teammate in the 16? I think that's him right there, isn't it? Nope, that's Patrick Curtis. There's LaPlante. I think LaPlante has just been shown the white flag. I think he's just been shown the white flag, and now he's trying to catch his teammate in the 6th, who I think he just passed already. I think LaPlante has cycled back to the race lead, so those pit stops didn't really mean a whole heck of a lot, as LaPlante did receive the white flag. This time by will be the checkers. Austin LaPlante finally gets his first win of the season. He will win the My Bariatric Solutions 300 at Texas. Wow. I'm in shock. I am absolutely in shock. I thought for certain with GNS physics with this mod, these drivers were going to make the entire 34 laps without having to come to pit road at all. And I was proved incorrect. It was almost as if these drivers were on the CTS physics we saw in last night's Taxslayer Truck Series race. And we nearly had a fuel strategy race completely jumble up what could have been the finishing results of this race. I thought Glenn Dewitt was going to try and risk it. He had only one more lap to make it around. I'm not certain why he didn't try running out of fuel, because he's already got a win this season. So if the best thing that can happen to you is you get a second win and you're locked into the chase for the championship completely, I mean, why not risk it? But he decided not to, and instead, the second Roush Fenway car will go to victory lane this season with the 16 of Austin LaPlante. Wow. I was not expecting that. I honestly was not expecting that. So LaPlante will become the 5th different rookie to go to victory lane this season out of 7 different race winners. And he will definitely extend his points lead heading into our next race as well, as he was out in front for a good portion of this race. He'll get some stage points. He gets playoff points now. And of course now has a trip to victory lane. So now he can just rely potentially on consistency to get him into the battle for the championship later on this year. A Baranauskas so close. She had a really good car. Fought her way up to 2nd, but it seemed then everything kind of went status quo between her and the 16. She just couldn't gain on LaPlante, so she'll finish with 2nd. A Lagasee, what a great run for him. We saw him battling up into the top 10. He'll finish on the podium with a 3rd place run here this evening. Benny Watson and Elijah Gilbert, a couple of former champions, will get 4th and 5th. This should have both of them situated in the top 10 of the points heading into next week's race. PJ Williams will bring it home 6th. Scott Roush, great run in 7th. 8th place will be Cole Deaver with Dawson Wise and Ryan George, the pole sitter, completing the top 10. We saw James Qualls kind of drift back late. Well, he fought his way back up to 11th. Angel Navarro in 12th. Glenn Dewitt, I thought he was going to risk it, but instead decided to come to pit road. He'll still leave with a good run of 13th place, so that should help get him away from that 30th in the point standings cut line. Kyle Langeland brings it home 14th with M McIntire in 15th. The rest of your top 20 were Ralph Mason, Matthew Daleo, Phil Parker, R.J. Reynolds, and Kyle Keith. For Matthew Daleo, good run for him. We didn't really talk about him all night, but he came into this race 12th in the points, so this finish could very well have put him into the top 10, as it could have for M McIntire, who came in 14th in points and finishes with a 15th position. So we'll see how that plays out. Look on down through the remainder of the finishing results from this evening. Michael Haas finished 1 lap down to the race leaders. Undoubtedly spent extra time on pit road with that green flag pit stop cycle to get that left and right side damage repaired on his Toyota. And Christian Merrick Jr. was the only car to finish out of the race due to a valve problem on his number 92 Chevrolet. So that is going to do it from this evening's race at Texas Motor Speedway. Austin LaPlante goes to victory lane for the first time here in Season 3. Thank you all for tuning in to tonight's race. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become a part of the crew today. We have shown your full favorite results, and these are your rookie points as well as your overall standings heading into our next race. We cap off this race weekend at Texas tomorrow night with the Hershey's Cup Series race, and then next week, it's just the Hershey's Cup Series race weekend once again. Pizza Hut X Series and Taxslayer Truck Series taking another off week, as we're going to have our Mud Summer Classic Extravaganza at Eldora Raceway. That's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of interesting stuff that's going to be going on in that regard, so you will not want to miss that. Then next following week, all 3 series will be heading to the high banks of Talladega Super Speedway. So that should be a very interesting race weekend indeed. But certainly looking forward to finishing up this race weekend at Texas, our race weekend next week at Eldora, and then we go to Talladega. And we're getting close to the end of the first half of the season, getting closer and closer to All-Star race break. So that's something to look forward to on the horizon as well. But we will see you guys tomorrow night for the Hershey's Cup Series race here at Texas Motor Speedway, as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA, offline racing at its best.